loud. We're allowing all the autopilots. There we go. Hi, guys. Welcome to Tech Tuesday. Can you believe it's already been a week? Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I'm super excited. And I know I always say I'm super excited, but I'm really super excited every time we talk about StreetText because it has been a game changer for me. I've been using StreetText for, I don't know, we tried to figure this out and I was thinking 4 years, but I think it might be closer to 5. So this has been my main lead source. We have about 86,000 leads in our database, and StreetText is a huge reason why. It just works, and they have a secret sauce. And I've split tested a lot of different things. Like I tried to do something in Ads Manager, right? Same picture, same ad, same everything, same location, and then I do it in StreetText, and for some reason I get 3 times more the leads. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to spend time in Ads Manager anymore because number one, I hate it and it's always changing, right? So StreetText is a super easy platform for you guys to plug into and just press the button and it goes and then leads come in. So that was my short version of it, but it's obviously a lot more than that. So I have Steven here and he is going to be telling everybody exactly what StreetText is and go over all the new stuff. So they are always growing with me. Like when we first started, it was like they just had a couple ads, and it was still cool. I still joined because that's all it took was a couple ads to run, super easy. But since then they have tons of different ads and they started running video ads. And I was like, oh my God, this is game changer because I was in Krista Mayshore coaching and we do a lot of videos. And I was like, this would be so much easier if we could just run them through your system. And boom, there it is. They're like, here you go, Wendy. Now you can run video ads. And then I was like, oh my God, it would be amazing if we could retarget. Boom, there you go, Wendy. Now we have retargeting. So it's just crazy. Like whatever we need, they just create. So I love it. And I'm going to stop talking and let Steven unmute himself and tell us all the good stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Wendy, for that wonderful intro. And I am so happy to be here. I see a bunch of familiar faces, and so I'm happy to see all of you as well. And so today I'm going to cover a couple things. So if you know what StreetText is, as I see many of you do, you're going to see some cool stuff that nobody really has seen before because it's Tech Tuesday, and that's what it's all about. And for those of you that know nothing about what we do, don't worry. I'll do a quick little intro, as Wendy said as well. But just a quick shout out actually to Wendy. She kind of mentioned it, but I want to highlight just how important it's been. You're obviously all here because of Wendy, because of the Tech Tuesdays that she set up to help teach you all the cool technology. But what you don't realize, or maybe some of you don't know, is that Wendy actually has been a key part of some of these features that you're going to see today. So she is truly a pioneer in actually the Tech Tuesday, the perfect person to be running these meetings. And she's always sharing ideas or things that she would like to see. And we do our best to build everything we can around Wendy's suggestions. So if you like some of the stuff you see today, first off, you can thank Wendy. If you want some of it to be different and you reach out to support, maybe reach out to Wendy. Wendy can ask, and she can probably twist her arm to get it done a little bit faster. So once again, super excited to see all of you, and we'll get started. That being said, though, I would love this to be a little bit more interactive. First off, so many of you have your cameras on, which is awesome because I can see all of you. I really appreciate that. But I would love to hear a little bit, or a bit of show of hands, or you can jump in as well. Who here is currently running ads, or who's your running ads? Okay, I see Lori. I see some of our StreetText people. That's awesome. Who like, I'm trying to think of the best way to ask this question. Who's running ads here out of the ads manager themselves? Is anybody running it just on the ads manager? Okay, I see one hand. I can't see everybody's face. Yeah, I see another one. I'd love to know, and you can put it in the chat if you don't mind. I think it was Suma made a comment there. What are some of the things that you find hard about doing it in the ads manager? I'm just curious. I know there's some easy parts that they've done a really good job on, but maybe just throw it in to the comment. I'm just curious. I'm gonna read the chat because there's some big changes I'm going to show to you today. So I'm just curious. Yeah, Wendy is a lifesaver.
I think one of
Yeah.
my biggest things was retargeting. So in order to retarget your whole database, you have to upload a CSV file every month or whenever you want it updated. And then you have to upload it as an audience. Like it's the most retarded thing ever. So that was my biggest struggle. I mean, and the fact that Facebook changes all the time. So there was always like, oh, error. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, so now we don't have that because you guys figured that out before I even run an ad.
That's a really good point. I forgot. I wasn't even going to mention that today on the audience side, but maybe I'll loop in on that because it is a big change or it's a huge time saver. So I'll jump in on that in a second. So another question, I'd love to hear what CRMs are you using? If you don't mind, throw it in the chat because I'm going to share a couple things on the CRM side today. Just put it in the chat. I'd love to see what CRM you're using. KV Core. We got Follow Up Boss here. KV Core, Make method, KV Core, KV Core, Make Lofty, KV Core, Fub, Lofty, Fub. Okay, so it's so funny. It's always the same few. There really is just a few CRMs out there that make all the difference. Okay, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's pretty much all the questions I will ask before I kind of jump into it. So what is StreetText? So I'll share my screen in just a minute, but StreetText is a platform, as Wendy said, that makes it really easy to run ads on Facebook. But it's more than just running your ads and generating your leads. It's also how are you going to leverage that database and continue to leverage that database so that you can really grow your business. And so the first thing I'm actually going to jump into is the ROI side here because I want to paint out a little picture. This is good for even those of you that are on the StreetText side. I know many of you have done many deals through StreetText, but it's a good place to just think about and move forward because if all of you are going to have a different size database, and Wendy's database now is getting quite large. And Wendy, I would love to have we should, you said you've been with us for a number of years now, and you've got a huge database. It wasn't always like that, was it?
No, no. I mean, I've always been like kind of addicted to lead gen. I love doing it. But yeah, I think when I first started with you, I was probably like maybe 5 or 10,000 deep.
Yeah, now you're into like close to like
86,000.
yeah, it's huge, right? And so I think the most important thing about that, and Woody, you can attest to this, if you send out now a mass email or a big update on a home value, what happens to when you send it
I
out
go
to
to Google
everybody?
jail.
Well, yeah, you go to Google jail, but what the point is that you get responses every single time. There are so many people in your database that are ready to buy or sell, and the larger the database, just the more business you're going to attract out of it all the time. Okay, so let me share my screen. I'll jump right into it, and we'll go through some of the cool new features as well. Just make sure I'm sharing. Let me know if you can see all of this right now. Got a few
Yeah,
different
yeah.
tabs open, so. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I just want to jump over to this for a second because this is something that's built into StreetText. If you haven't seen it or haven't used it, I highly recommend that you do. It's under the settings tab, and if you click on it, it's called My Business Planner. And you guys can all see this, right? Wendy, you can see the business planner.
Uh-huh.
And so the reason I just wanted to start here is that there's two different ways you can optimize for budget or revenue. But I just wanted to point out a couple things on this really quick. So first and foremost, is that this one I'm just going to play with. This is on the budget side. So if we're optimizing for a certain budget, this is sort of the ROI that you can look towards or expect or just work towards. And here's the first thing I want to point out. This is actually Wendy's overall lead cost, including her remarketing right now. And so our system, even though she runs a lot of ads that are a lot cheaper, she's also running some ads that are a little bit more expensive because she's running video ads or ads that our system can't track entirely. It is just the way she runs some of her stuff. So it'll pull the average up a little bit, but all in all, it's giving her a baseline number that she can sort of work towards. And this number is automatically generated. It'll generate for you too. So as you're running ads and you're generating leads, our system will automatically track that. And it'll give you the highest number possible to make sure that if it's lower, better, but it's going to make sure that it doesn't miss any of the numbers. So I'll just walk you through this really quickly. So let's say Wendy's average customer value is around $10,000. And would that be right, Wendy, or would this be updated now? Like in your market on one end, what does it typically look like?
Yeah, it's more like
Is that your
15.
husband, boss? Okay, yeah.
Maybe Or are you asking a question, or is that just a, or you guys, Wendy, you let me know if there's a question being asked.
Yeah, I think it was, I think they were just not muted.
Okay, no problem. So I'm going to change this to $15,000. You can put in whatever you want here. You can kind of adjust it. But you'll notice on the right-hand side, this number is changing right away based on the number, right? So the second thing I want to point out, and this is a really important metric, this is your lead to customer rate. And essentially all this is meaning is like, what is the percentage of customers in a period of a year that are even going to talk to you or do any business with you, right? And so this right now is set at 1, which means that out of every 100 leads that go into your database, only one of those leads is going to be ready to do business this year. And I would say that's a fairly conservative number. There are many, people that say, it should be closer to 2 to 3%. But I mean, even if this was, say, like 0.5%, which would mean 99 and a half leads are going to go nowhere, this is the ROI based on some other numbers I'll show you. And again, this all comes down to the follow-up. But the first thing I want to show you about this customer rate is it's much lower than you might think it is, but it still works really, really well. And if you can get these numbers up to 2% or 3%, it can make a huge difference based on how much you spend to generate on your database. So I'll go back to say 1% right now, which means, again, 99 of every 100 leads are not ready this year. Maybe they'll be ready in the future, but we're not going to calculate them today. This is an important number because it's more important for you to focus on some of your lead conversion than it is on your lead cost. Our system already does a good job of keeping your lead price down and helping with your marketing and all of that. But if you implement systems to help on your lead conversion, which I know Wendy covers a lot in her Tech Tuesdays as well, so stay tuned to all the other things that she on the other technologies she uses. But a small percentage change on this can make a huge difference in the overall success of your database and of any of your lead generation. And that doesn't just speak for StreetText, but for anything you're doing. So again, we've just got this set at 1. The next thing is that this is optimized, obviously, for budgets. For some of you, you're not looking to spend $2,000 a month. You want to spend, say, like $200 a month. And so this would forecast all this out. And so again, now we're looking at, say, 34,000. And again, if I brought this up to, say, 1.5%, again, big difference in your overall ROI based on based on your lead to customer rate and the conversion rate. So, but if you're looking to spend more, this gives you a bit of an idea of what you should be expecting. So in the case, let's just say I'm going to spend 500 just for rough numbers here. We'd be spending roughly about $17 a day on our ad side. And in this case, we're looking at about 85,000 based on all these numbers I showed you on the left. But this also is really important. For some of you, when you're running ads, you have a goal and you have a budget, but you maybe not spending quite enough to hit it, because in this case, you can see here, we would need a minimum of about 48 leads a month or about 2 a day. And that's going to result in about 570 leads over the course of the year. And if Wendy's lead cost is sitting here, that means that the value of each of those leads is actually worth $150 for her. And that's based on this conversion rate. So the reason I say it like that is that even though some of these leads that show up are going to have fake numbers and whatnot, and you can think of them as like each one of them is getting you closer to the $15,000 value. So as it's dividing it up between all of them, each lead is worth $150. And it's also important because it shows you how much the follow-up is worth. Like even just making another text or another call or sending another email, each one of those, as you're moving towards that 1% conversion rate. Like if I up this now to 1.5, you can see the lead value is actually going up. And its reason it's going up is because more of those percentage of those leads are gonna convert. So it's really important to think this through. And yeah, and so in this case, Lindy would convert 6 customers over the course of a year from her 570 leads that she generates. Hopefully more of them will convert in the future, and that will result in 85,000. So if you've got any questions on that, or you're not sure what I'm talking about, feel free to throw it in the chat, or Wendy can ask a question. But I just wanted to start here because this is the power of what happens when your database starts to grow. And as I was mentioning earlier.
Yeah, and I get a lot of people saying that. They're like, how many do you close? And it's just like, I figure out everything at the end of each year. So at the end of each year, I'm like, this is how much I spent money. This is how much I made from it. Does it still make sense? If it doesn't, I take it out. But every time I do the numbers, for a street text, it's like a 300 to 400% ROI. So,
Mhm.
yes, you've got to spend money to make money, but you also need to do the follow-ups and do the conversion. But yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. So lots of people
Uh,
get scared of spending that much money every month, but when you make that much money every month, plus some,
and
right?
it is definitely it is a process to your point. Like it's not like unfortunately it'd be nice where if you spent $7 you get a $15,000 transaction, and I mean it can happen. I mean you can get that odd
Right.
lead that comes in that's just ready to do business today, but it really is a process. But and this doesn't this what I'm showing you here isn't necessarily just a street text thing. This is just a business thing. This is a every single business is out there to if they're looking to grow, they're looking to attract new customers to their business. And so they spend money on advertising to do so, or they have different methods of attracting new customers. And they have a process that they take people through to eventually turn them into customers. And that's all I'm really showing you here. And so as Street Text, we're just doing our best to help paint that out. It's a little harder in the sense of the lead cycle because the lead cycle is a little longer. So that makes it harder for all of you. But it also means that for those of you that stick through with it and you build the systems, there's really good ROI on the other side. And so I just want to read some of these comments because Gina, looks like you wrote here, what is the average customer value? So that's this question here. This is essentially what's one side of a deal worth to you roughly. So in some markets, maybe it's $9,000. In some like if you're in like, high end luxury markets, it's going to be a lot higher. Sometimes it's 40 or 50,000. Wendy said in her market it's around 15,000. So you can sort of set that as like, what is that customer value worth to you? Again, if I was a different company and I was running advertising, maybe and I was selling, in the case of say a product, let's just say an iPhone, my customer value right now would maybe be like $1,500, right? Or $2,000. It's actually quite high in the real estate world, which gives you a lot of, even though your timeline's a little longer, it gives you a lot of margin to work with. There's actually a really good business case, very strong business case to be made for obviously the lead gen side on for real estate. So I read this one. What is the least amount I can pay as a starting point to earn revenue moving forward? It's a higher monthly payment. Well, the nice thing is we can obviously talk about pricing later, but on the ad side, you can spend as little as much or as much as you want. Like here in this case, we're going to spend $50 a month, and we're going to make less, right? But the process is still the same, right? We're only going to convert one deal, so it'll feel like a lot of work over the whole year for that one deal, but it's a process. Becomes predictable revenue. You begin to expand, and once you do your first deal, maybe you can bump this out to $150 a month, right? And now we can do two deals, and you can grow it that way. So you can grow it at your own pace on the ad side. But one of the things I just wanted to mention on this really, really quick again too is when we jump over to for the context that Wendy has on the StreetText side, like in our system, she's got sort of right now about that 67,000. The only reason Wendy's able to send out an email and get people that are always ready to, do something is because of this database size. And I know when you're starting out, you might have like a few hundred contacts or, a 500 contacts or 1,000 contacts, and that's all good. That's where you because all of those leads can convert at some point. But ideally, you want that to get bigger and bigger and bigger because let's say everything stopped today. And I mean, Facebook and Google, you couldn't run any ads and everything came to a standing halt. Wendy still has a massive database that she can communicate with for free every single week for the rest of this year. I mean, and she can continue to just email them on an ongoing basis. And people will still be added to her database through her open houses or other things that she's doing. Let's just say she couldn't run ads anymore. She's still going to do a ton of business out of this database every single year. And that's the power of building your database. And again, that applies for every single business. Every single business is obsessed with growing their database and ongoing. So I'll see if there's any more questions here, and then I'm going to jump into some of the technology, and we can talk a little bit about what StreetText does. So just really, really quickly again, on a high level, we help you generate the leads. What we do is if I was to click on, say, the launch ads view here on the left, these are a whole bunch of different ad templates that are available for you to use. And as Wendy mentioned, there's remarketing ads. We've got video ads. There's a whole bunch of different ad types. But we just try to make it really easy so that when you select or click on an ad, It's easy to deploy. And I know some of you run ads in the ads manager and you've kind of got a system dialed, but when you see the end of what we do in the video today, you might feel differently about that just because we're adding a lot more functionality to kind of streamline that even further. But in essence, what I would do if I was going to build one of these, I just click on it, I go through a couple quick steps, and I click launch and hit deploy, and my ad is going to be live and it's going to be running. And so if I go to Wendy's active ads for a second here, you can see Wendy has a whole bunch of different ads she's running. These are some video ads that she's running. She's got tons of different ads that she's always running at different times. But the point is we make it easy to basically just track those, track your cost, track the spend that you're running, and just make sure that your ads are out there and they're being viewed. And in addition to that, we've got automations that are built in. So again, you're using a whole bunch of different CRMs. The reason I'm a big fan of these particular automations, though, and the reason I think that you should consider using them is just because they are linked to the specific ad you're running. So let's say you're using a tool like Follow Up Boss, and you've got some great generic automations built out to nurture your leads. You should really still have a few text messages or emails designed to be sent to that lead for this ad, and then have a tag at the end of our automation that just triggers your automation, say in Follow Up Boss. Because if you're going to actually send them some text messages or emails, it should be about this listing. It should be about the information they clicked on. Overall, you're going to get a much higher response rate on that than if you just got something more generic kind of on the back end. So, all right. So I want to jump into the new cool stuff, but maybe just really quick. Does anybody have any questions for me so far, kind of on what I've shown that I'm able to answer?
Yeah, I'm trying to answer in the chat here, but yeah, how long are the videos? So most of my videos are under 4 minutes. Not because, that's a rule, just because that's what mine are. So there's that. And then, yeah, I put my StreetText link in there for a 7-day free trial, so you could check it out. Will this work with my current database of leads that I haven't contacted yet? Yes, absolutely. Robin, what is your CRM? Unmute yourself.
Good morning.
Hi.
I use Wise Agent, and I haven't started using KV Core. It's just a lot.
Okay, so you can actually export your CSV file, like of all your contacts, and import them into StreetText. Absolutely. That's what we used to do before they had a direct integration with Follow Up Boss, which I'm sure Steven's going to talk about.
Yeah, and so Robin, you can import all those leads into StreetText, and then you can even do remarketing ads specifically to just that list. And I'll touch on the ad bundles for 1 second before I jump into the new stuff. So if I hopped over to the ad bundles, in addition to all the ads that Wendy's running, this particular feature is actually Wendy's fingerprints are all over it, and this is called the ad bundles. And really, what this is designed to do is, in this case, Wendy has, like, say, a listing, a video bundle, a luxury bundle. She has 27 ads in here, and she wants to stay in front of these 13 audiences, right? That she wants to remarket to. The problem is that if she runs those 27 ads at once, even for $1 a day, she's going to be spending $27 a day, even at the minimum. Let's just say $1 a day budget. But she likes to spend $6 a day on some of these ads. And so as you can imagine, she'd be spending a fortune per day for all these 27 ads. The other thing is that people get bombarded with the same ad all at the same time, and she'd be spending a ton of money. So what the ad bundles do is, you can see here, Wendy has a whole bunch of these 27 ads. And if I scroll down somewhere here in the middle of them all, let's see, here it is. This ad is actually running right now. It's $6 a day. And in 18 hours, this ad's going to turn off, and this ad is going to turn on. And so that way, she's only ever spending, in this example, $6 a day versus 27 ads at $6 a day. So it's a built-in system to rotate automatically, nurture all of this remarketing list that she cares about, including people that are just engaging with her Facebook and Instagram. But it keeps it in a very affordable budget. And then Wendy can just continue to add in ads or remove ads as she so chooses. And when it hits the end of this bundle, so at the very end here, before it'll automatically go all the way back to the top again and start through. So you can almost think of it largely as an email sequence that's running through, but you're doing it with ads. So it's a very, very powerful way of staying in front. So if you've got sitting in front of your database, so Robin, if you've got that database, you can import it to StreetText, you can create remarketing lists, you could set up bundles like Wendy's doing here, and then you can nurture that existing database, even if it's living someplace else.
And you don't have to do $6 a day. Most people do retargeting like $2 a day or $3 a
or
day.
even
So
one. Like
yeah,
there's
it's
a bunch
super
of people
cheap to
running
do.
$1. Yeah.
But when I'm trying to reach, 50,000 people in my database, or whatever it may be, then I want to run it a little higher. So to where I can get more of a reach. Adrian,
Right.
you have a question?
Thank you.
Hi, Stephen. Hi, Wendy.
Hi.
Stephen, do you have any plans to integrate Sierra Interactive?
We do have plans for the top big CRMs. So it's still included in the plan would be Sierra, Lofty, and KV Core, in addition to the Follow Up Boss one that we have right now. We're just continually, if you are using Follow Up Boss, you get a little bit of an unfair advantage right now because we do have a lot of functionality on that side. And we just want to finish the functionality fully before we go to the other CRMs so that we're duplicating all the same work. And so we will integrate with all the big four for sure.
Okay, thank you. Good to see you.
You as well. You as well. Okay, so I can answer some more of these questions in a minute. I know many of you want to get into some of the cool new stuff, so I'll start there. And actually, maybe what I'll do is I'll start with Crystal's question because it gives us a little bit of some of the technology I can showcase, and then we can get into the other stuff. So, is setting up the automation text messages separate service, or how do we activate the replies? And so StreetText does actually have that all built in. And so when you sign up for StreetText, we do have a texting platform. You can see here, Wendy's got this conversation tab open, and this will actually handle all of the text messages for you and bring the replies. And again, this will come to other CRMs, but if you're using a tool like Follow Up Boss, we actually push all of that also into the Follow Up Boss inbox side. So you don't even have to come to StreetText to manage it. It will just exist over there as well. And I'll show you a couple things around that are kind of neat. So I'm just going to minimize some of my my tabs here just so I don't get lost. I can go back to some of them. So in this example here, as I was mentioning, Wendy here was running, this is one of the ads that she's running, and she had just launched actually over the weekend. And I love this one here. This is a totally different one that I've seen before, but I thought it was really cool. And so I'm excited to see how these ones perform. And so when she launched this ad, and this is not a feature that's available to all of you yet, but it's something that that I was just beta testing with Wendy, and it's early days. I'm going to show you a couple things. We're just prototyping, and the purpose is just to get you feedback. If you like it, we keep extending it, or we shift gears with it, or if you don't like it, we scrap it. And we're always trying things all the time. And so one of the things that we're trying right now is when Wendy launched this exact ad, we don't want to give her a generic automation, and in this case, we would really have no automation, right? Because we don't know what Wendy's going to launch with this custom ad. We have no idea what it's going to be. And so if I went to this automation tab, it would just be blank. There's nothing in there. And so what we actually launched for Wendy, whether she liked it or not, or whether she's using it or not, she can use as inspiration, is so here's an email that she would have received, something like this. And it's letting her know, congratulations, you've launched this new ad. Well done. We have some text messages that we've designed just for you based on the ad you just launched. And so you can copy and paste these text messages to your automation, or you can, obviously modify them or use them as inspiration to engage and convert new leads. And so you can see here, we generated, in this case, a few days or 5 text messages over the first 3 days. And all of these are actually entirely based on the ad she just launched. So Wendy, I'm sure you can attest, like you launched a few different types of ads, and you would have seen different email sequences coming out. And so, go ahead.
Yeah, I did see that, and I did like it. I did not have time to copy and paste.
No, that's not a problem. This is one of those early things that really nobody's really seeing. We're playing with it right now. It's kind of an idea. And I would say the only downside with this feature right now, and again, because we're just doing it early, we're seeing the feedback, is that it would be cooler, way cooler, if you like this, or if we even built it out even further, let's say to like, 3 months worth of automations, if you could just click a button and it was built for you automatically in your automation. And we all know that.
Yes.
That would be much better. But for today, and where we're at today as just a prototype, there's this button here that says Edit Automation. If I clicked on Edit Automation, it would actually load the exact automation for that ad. And you can see it's completely blank. We have nothing here right now because it was a totally custom ad. But we could build in, and I won't do it now, but we could build in these text messages and copy and paste them and set them up. And so this is to really just give you a little bit of inspiration, but it is really powerful because I want to show you one other thing. And this was not an automation that we use with this feature. This was just an automation that Wendy already had on another ad. But again, if I go to her conversations tab, and I was just clicking on this one here for a second, you can see here's some text messages that were going out automatically based on one of Wendy's automations that she had either built out or was using in StreetText automatically. And you can see here's a response. Now, some of the responses are going to be like, stop, or it's not me, or whatnot. But some of the responses are going to be like this, and again, it's going to get that conversation started. The other reason I like the tool that I'm just showing you, or the technology I'm just showing you, is that most of you, if you're running our automations that are built around the ads, you're getting the same automation or the same text sequence that everybody's getting because, they're built into the template. But if you start to use these ones that I'm showing you here, they're completely unique just to you. And again, you can customize them. They're fairly easy to copy and paste and put in, but they're completely unique to you. Nobody else has got them. And I think that's really important and to help, get that conversation started as well. And again, you only need a few. Like you can see in this case here, it took 4 text messages before they responded. What if you had only had 1 in this case, or 3 in this case? You wouldn't have got that response. And our system automatically turns off once the response comes in. And then it's up to you, obviously, to continue that. And again, if you're using a tool like Follow Up Boss, it'll obviously push all of that in there for you as well. But what's neat here too, I'll just highlight a couple of the small things, is that you can see on the right-hand side, this is really cool. Look at this. This particular lead actually came in on numerous different ads, a bunch of different ads. It wasn't just one ad that brought them in and then they started a conversation. It was a number of different ads before they engaged. And so our system tracks all of that. If I actually go to the contact, I'd open this up here too. If I go to here, you can see here's a particular lead. And you can see here's a lead. They came in on this ad in September last year. Now they're re-engaging just recently on one of Wendy's listing ads. And so it's important to, this is why the remarketing is so important, because, even if you've generated a lead and they're not talking to you, it doesn't mean that they won't on a future ad that you run, or on a future, maybe it's a listing or an open house or something else that gets them engaged, get them to re-engage. And we've got obviously a bunch of other remarketing ads that are built in as well. But I just wanted to point that out. So that's one of the first cool things I just wanted to highlight. I think it's a neat new technology that we're playing with. Early
Steven?
days. If you like it, let me know. If you hate it, let me know. If you want to tweak it, let me know. Again, that's
Steven,
actually why I even including here the bottom. This is in beta.
Can you hear me?
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh, I know I have that coming to me when I post ads, but does everybody have that yet?
No.
That's beta. And when is that going to be available?
Well, if people want to be on that beta list, because it's still very much in beta, if they want to get added, I don't mind adding them. Just if you're a current customer and you just want to you start to play with it, I just put my email in. Just send me an email and I'll get you on that list. Yeah, because you just got to be added to it right now if you like it. All right, so I want to show you, because we have time, I want to show you one more that I think is really, really cool. And this is going to be a big, in my mind, a huge game changer going forward. So, and we still good for time, Wendy?
Yep.
Okay.
Doing great.
So we have another tool that we are generating or are working with. And again, this one's also in beta. When you're running ads, we do our best to make it as easy as possible, right? Like, launching the ads. But it can still be hard to come in, and it can be hard to, stay on top of all of those. And so I want to show you a brand new feature that's coming out and that we're experimenting with, and it's called our Managed Ad AI system. And hopefully you can all see this here at the bottom. Again, you wouldn't see this right now, but you know when you're building an ad, you get to the budget section and maybe you're doing a 3-ad split test. So if you're unfamiliar with what you're looking at right now, all this is this is the last step when you're about to deploy an ad. Again, we make it really easy to just put in a couple things and the ad launches. And this is the final step. But at the bottom here, there's this tab that nobody will see yet, or only a few people, but it'll say Managed Ad AI. And this is a big feature even without the AI part. And what I mean by that is I'll actually just uncheck these first two here. The first thing is when you can set a rule. And so when Wendy's running ads, and let's say her average lead price, like we were showing her, is about, let's say, $10, but maybe she's running, say, a specific ad, and she just wants to know that if this ad hits $15, I want the ad to immediately pause. And this in itself is a huge feature because some of you will know this, you get busy and you've got an ad running and the lead price kind of is going a little bit, sideways on you, but you haven't had a chance to look in the last couple of days and you're like, oh shoot, I wish I could have turned that off yesterday instead of today, because now it's at like, $17 a lead and I should have just turned that ad off. And so we've got this feature that's built in now where if you want, you can turn this on and you can set it at $15. And the first thing it can do for you is you just want the ad to pause. And maybe once it's paused, you'll come in and you'll reevaluate the situation and decide what to do. But this will save you a bunch of money because if an ad goes wrong, just our system can handle it for you and shut it off. But it could also, if you have this checked, it can relaunch that ad for you automatically. And so what our system will do, and our system will take that ad, and how all of you know how powerful it is that sometimes an ad loses performance, but you've already done all the work of recreating it, just let the system rebuild it for you automatically. Our system will rebuild it, we'll keep it the same, and you can try it again, and it'll include the same rule as before. So it'll automatically come included with this $15 lead price. So our system will quickly redeploy it for you. You won't have to worry about it. And if it hits $15 again, it'll just kind of repeat the process. But this last one is proving to be quite powerful. The last thing you can do, and again, it perhaps wouldn't work on every ad, but I think it's getting there. You can use AI generated creative. And if you select this, it doesn't mean it 100% will. We actually have a team in the middle that makes sure that everything going out is good and compliant and perfect. But our system will allow actually AI to be involved in recreating this ad. And I'm going to show you an example of what this looks like. But this is not only a huge time saver, but for the demos and the examples we're running, it's driving the lead price down. So not only is it helping you not exceed your $15 lead price, but the way we're building the AI is we're getting it to look at what the lead price was and do everything it can to help drive that down. And I think this is going to get better and better over time. Again, early days on it, but this is a huge game changer than if you're trying to run ads on your own. Like this is now suddenly, doesn't matter if you only spend a couple hours a week in Facebook or whatever it is, all that time goes back to you. And our system is now running the ads and actually making variations. So here's an example. So here's an ad that, and this is a real ad actually, but I'm just putting it in my demo account to show you an example. But here's an ad that Chase was actually running, another one of our guys in StreetText, and he had, it was, see all available Orange County for sale. Oh, sorry, I put this backwards. I was building this out really quickly. I got it the wrong way around. So I'm just gonna put that there, and single story homes. I just built this for the demo. Okay, so see all available single story homes for sale in Orange County, right? And here's the image that he used. And these are, this is obviously a real listing, but it's designed to kind of show like single story homes and in Orange County, right? And this was all the verbiage and whatnot. So the AI version of this ad looks like this. So what it did is it changed the text for you. So again, it's similar, same offer, but unique, and nobody else has it. It's not the same template, and they created this particular image sequence, which is doing its best. And again, I mean, for a computer to read an image and then even create the Canvas style 3 ads, it did this all based on the way we're prompting it. And it's another version that Chase was able to run. And so again, human in the middle, we take a look at this. We always make sure that they're good to go out. before it redeploys for you, but it's literally done for you. And so just back to this again, you could create your initial ads, you could turn this functionality on, and then you can just watch it. And we're going to email you every single time an ad's going live. We're going to email you and show you what it is so you can see it. But for those of you out, I'd love to hear just some early feedback. Again, this is Tech Tuesday, so you're seeing some stuff that nobody else gets to see early. I'd love some feedback on this, or what your thoughts are on it, because so far it's been pretty cool from our end, but I'd love what you guys have to say.
Steven, I think that's really cool. I think it would be great if you could push that AI create button on some ads that you already have and just like trigger it manually.
That's a great idea, Herb.
Oh, I like that idea too.
We had implemented a little bit of that in the sense that, if we went, but not the image part. And so I think I agree with you. Like if I click, say, customize on, say, one of these, like this one here, if you do click on customize, there is actually the ability to click this remix ad copy. And what this will do is it'll actually change. I'll click it in a second here, but I'll show you some of the functionality. Like there's I could change it to English, French, Spanish, or I could change the writing style. And then if I click this, it'll just give it a second. It'll start to redo it, but we didn't do anything with the image. So I think that could be a good way of incorporating that in.
Yeah, I like the image one. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the image is pretty cool.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll do that. But yeah, you can see here's for sale in Las Vegas act now. I don't know if that's the greatest one, but the cool thing is you can toggle between or have it, you can remix it again. You can pick the ones that you like, and it changes all the other steps as well. So great point, Herb. I'll include that. That's some great feedback. Thank you.
Okay, do we get to decide when the relaunch happens, or does it automatically have a certain amount of days to relaunch?
Right. So our system is running it, and we have a few different time windows, but it's running it over like a 7-day average. And so the idea is that it's going to look at all the data over the 7 days and then make a decision for you. And it'll continue to ongoing, but that's like the soonest for this particular feature. And then if you click the relaunch or the use AI generated, it's gonna relaunch it pretty fast. So that's also good feedback if you wanted to delay it. But you could also just turn these off and just pause it, and our system won't do anything other than just pause the ad and then just kind of notify you.
It will notify you though. That was another question.
Yes. Yeah. It'll
That
notify
they
you.
paused it. Okay, that's cool.
Awesome.
Okay. We had someone ask if this is easy for newer agents or,
Yeah, keep in mind, like this is, Tech Tuesday, so we're diving into some of the little bit more sophisticated stuff. But as Wendy will attest, a lot of what I showed you today, you can grow into it, right? Like you could just jump into the system, launch some ads, generate some leads, and start, working those leads. Like this is a lot of these other features, like the remarketing stuff, you can get to that. But if you are a newer agent, I think it's pretty simple just to get started.
right. So, and I totally agree. I mean, you can jump in there. If you don't have listings, you could do a list of homes. Like we do pool homes because it's 120 here in Las Vegas. So that one works really well. So what are people looking for in your area? And you could do a quick list of homes, and people click on it because they want that list of homes. And then you already know kind of what they're looking for, right? And you can set them up on a search, call them, make sure they got the list, all the stuff, right? So, or you could do the listing one. Listings and open houses are the best ads to run right now. They work the best. They get the most leads. So, and they're super easy. You just put a picture, put the open house information, and then put a link to your property that's on your website, and boom, there you go. There, everybody wants the information. So, so that one is a super easy one to run. And then even getting sellers, like we use the "What's your home really worth" ad, and it works really well. And I ran it in other people's areas, like Tennessee. My friend was like, "Oh yeah, that doesn't work very well here." I ran a "What's your home really worth" ad in her area, and we got like 12 seller leads in one night, just overnight, super cheap. So So you never know, it could be good for your area too. So the 7-day free trial is an amazing thing to just try it out, you know, and they're like that, what's your home worth? Running it with the map takes less than 60 seconds to launch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even like our templates are sorting based on how cheap the lead price is. So like for instance, when you mentioned the open house, if I hover over this one for a second, the average cost per phone or email, you know, for the ton of ads, like the 1,100 active right now on that is about $4. And so it really, to Wendy's point, it is an easy one to run. It's very, and it works. Like that's the thing is we're aggregating all of this data. So you don't have to wonder if it's going to work. And you can also use this benchmark as a bit of a comparison. Like if you're running this and you've got like $15 leads, well, maybe you either did it wrong or maybe I would try it again because the average is a lot better than what you'd be getting. So you should be getting closer to sort of that price point. Again, if you're in a high-end market, you should expect a little bit more. But your home's worth more. So it all kind of works out. But that gives you a bit of an idea of what to do. You mentioned one other thing that got my
Does
I
it
forgot what
connect
it
with
was.
our MLS? No, you use your MLS, you know, like the link to the list of pool homes or your listing. You're going to use that in here in this ad, and then they're going to start shopping right on your
Yeah,
website.
and it would be nice to obviously have the MLS, but you'll see like it's pretty easy. Like if I just put this in and I said, well, my the open house is going to be on say April 13th. I'm just picking these what's existing 4 p.m. and I pick an image. I'll just ignore the image for a second by click next. All I'm going to do here, this is just showing me what it looks like. All I'm going to do here is just put in my wherever that this listing lives in your website. So, if it was windy.com / my listing or my open house, that's all you're going to put in here. You just hit next and you just choose where you want to market this thing. So in this case, all of San Diego, hit next, and now I'm hitting that deploy button. And that's it. Or I can add some tags to it. I could do a split test, which we didn't talk about today. That's it. So pretty easy.
Yeah, super easy. Plug and play. That's why I got sold on it, just because it was so easy to use. So yes, definitely good for, new people or people that want to, go deep and market a lot. So
Yeah. And then, yeah, there again, I won't get too much into this, but to Wendy's point, there's a whole audience section here, and this audience section is essentially syncing your contacts with Facebook automatically. You never have to ever upload a CSV file again. We have, if on the first part of this audience section too, I won't go into the filters right now. Those are Wendy's custom audiences, but even on the first page, we are also, you can click one button to get an all leads audience. So you can just run remarketing to all your leads, or maybe you want to remarket to everybody that has ever clicked or commented on one of your ads. Or maybe you want to remarket to everybody that's on your website. You just click, when you only ever have to click these things one time, and now she can use them on an ongoing basis. And we can do a bunch of cool stuff with the videos too, which there's some, if for those of you that do videos, this was actually another inspired feature from Wendy. So for instance, like if I create a video audience on Facebook, which you can do, and you can put your videos in it and you can run remarketing to people that have, say, watch 25% of all your videos. The challenge when you launch another video is you have to remember to go to this audience and include that new video in your audience. And what StreetText does is we're just buying back your time. Our system will automatically go find those videos for you and then include them in these audiences. And we do that every day. We keep it in sync. So whenever Wendy is running remarketing to people that have watched, say, 25% of all her videos, it's including all of her videos. She doesn't have to worry that the one she launched earlier this week or last week isn't a part of that audience. And she's got to remember to go in or have somebody go in to add it. It's just done for her automatically. So these are these little small things that we do that just, they really do buy you back a lot of time, and they just keep your systems running, just seamlessly on an ongoing basis.
right. So really quick. Yes, there is a ton of how-to videos. Number one, I have a ton of them. Number two, Tech Tuesday has a lot of StreetText how-tos, but inside StreetText Insider, it's a Facebook group that you will be added to. Number one, you have masterminds every Wednesday that go dive deep into it, and you just get gold out of those masterminds. And then there are how-to videos on almost everything that you're trying to accomplish right there in Insider. So lots of different support. You can book calls with them. They have, if you have an idea, but you don't know how to do it, you can hop in and they'll help you with that too. So. Awesome.
Yeah, and I just posted this. These are all the different, as Wendy mentioned, some of the classes. Yeah, we have the Facebook group. So, and we got a great support team. So if you get stuck on anything, we also have, you can always go to like help.streettext. Whoops, I'm not. And then we have a whole kind of like learning based system in here too, if you need, but we'd be able to help you with that. But hopefully all of you enjoyed the Tech Tuesday. Again, you're seeing some stuff that is early that not a lot of people have access to, but if you want it, just email me and I'll make sure that we can include that, get that ready for you. But it's all about saving you time and helping you on the lead gen side and just helping integrate with all your systems. So all the feedback you put in so far has been really good.
Right. And this is like 50 million times better than Whitley, just saying. Not that I want to talk smack about any other company, but like it just is. So anyway, same concept, just better. And someone wanted you to talk real quick about pricing and that there's going to be some more affordable options.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that today. But I'll tell you what, and when I say more affordable options, what we're doing is we're designing the system so that we're unbundling some of the components. So if there's just certain pieces that you just want to use and not other pieces, it'll just be a little bit easier for you to get started and kind of use those. And so if you want to learn about that, you can send me an email. I can privately talk to you about it. Also, we have a big event coming up at the end of the month called our Mega Mind, which actually Wendy is going to be speaking on. She's going to be sharing how to really expand on the luxury side. And we're going to be revealing all of that at the event as well. So if you're curious, but if you do want to get in and you're just like a newer agent, you can reach out to me. I'll put my email in again and I can kind of talk to you about it a little bit. It's not, again, we're unbundling. So for those of you existing customers, don't worry, you're not missing out on anything. You also get grandfathered. So you get all of our high limits and everything. Nothing's going to be limited for you. But for newer agents starting or for somebody that wants just one particular piece, we're just going to make that a little bit easier for them as well. I'll get the link maybe just in a minute, Jackie, and I'll post it.
And then the 7-day free trial, like, so when you click on my link to do a 7-day free trial, you're actually going to have a meeting with them too. So as soon as you book, they're going to be contacting you saying, hey, let's talk about this, and give you the good stuff. And you can talk about them about pricing too. I mean, I think it's affordable just because you're trading time for money, So either you can spend hours trying to figure it out yourself in Ads Manager, or you could just point and shoot and be done and go sell houses, because that's what we do, right? We sell houses. We do not need to be spending hours trying to figure out how to retarget. And I know some of you guys know who I'm talking about. So look at all those smiles. Yep, I just hit home. Because I've been there. I have spent hours and hours trying to figure this shit out. And then they come up with this and it's like, oh, thank you. Thank you for just saving so much time. So anyway, we do a lot of StreetText pressing buttons and helping you run ads also in Tech Tuesday VIP. So if you are not a part of our VIP, which happens right after this call in our VIP room, please fill the form out and come join us and I can help you. So been doing this a minute, so I know a couple things. Thank you so much, Stephen, for being on the call. Does anybody else have any other questions? We do have 5 minutes. Anybody? Just raise your hand, virtual hand, whatever.
Yeah, or even just throw it in the chat.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi.
What now? This thing that happens at 10. What is that about? Or at 9, sorry. What is that
I know
about?
our time zones are all over the place. So yeah, we have a Tech Tuesday VIP. It's a very small group of us that just kind of go into the VIP room and I help you. Like we go through, people submit their questions. If they didn't submit their questions, then we just kind of go through and say, hey, what do you want to work on? We actually like work on the things, launch the ads, help you with YouTube. Like we do a lot of things in there and help you move forward. So a lot of people here just watch and learn and love it. But you got to do it or it's not going to work. So that's what we do in there. We do the things.
That's cool. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. Yeah, and if you do sign up for VIP, use the TT discount code that will get you 20% off your first month. And it's only $49 a month. That's 4 coaching sessions, sometimes 5. Sometimes we have 5 Tuesdays. That is so cheap. So anyway, hope to see you there. Mariah, you have a question? TT.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I kind of got in late. Did we get to be talking about pricing for the street text?
Yeah, so we did not. Stephen put his email in the chat so that you could kind of have a conversation with him about that because there's a lot of different options. So it just depends on what you want. I sign up for StreetText with retargeting so I can have ad bundles. You know, not everybody is there. Some people just want the StreetText. Some people just want a couple ads, you know, so to run. And they don't need 150 different choices, but you know, the 150 choices is good. So anyway.
To Wendy's point, if I'll put my email again one more time, if you email me, and I'll include these categories in just a second, some of you might be interested in just lead generation. Some of you might want just remarketing. Some of you might want text messaging included. Like just so let me know sort of what you're looking for, and I'll start to share what's possible. So I mean, obviously the system works very well all combined. Like, you know, Wendy obviously has running ad bundles. She's got a texting. She's got the lead gen side. She's got the remarketing plugged in, but for some of you, maybe you're just not ready to start there today. And so that's essentially what we're doing. We're just making it a little bit easier for everybody to get what they're looking for. So if you want, send me an email and just give me a little bit of time on it because I got a couple of back-to-back meetings in here, but I'll get back to you and I'll just include those categories here just below again as well.
Awesome.
Sure, I understand. Depending on the needs, whatever concept everyone has, they can pick and choose.
Yes. Yeah. It's like a buffet. But you'll want all of
I
it.
like that.
You'll want the whole buffet, Mariah.
I want the full enchilada.
The whole enchilada. I know, especially if your guys are already doing videos and you already have a ton of like seller tip videos, you know, you pull your seller audience out, like everybody that raised their hand wanting to know their home value, you put them in an audience and then you rotate those seller tips. That way they can get their house ready before you meet with them, right? So, and they get to know, like, and trust you, like Krista says, you know, get them to know, like, and trust you before you walk through the door. This is a super easy way to do that. And I love her strategy of, you know, running those in front of them for retargeting, but I like even more that I can run these daily, like a different video every day instead of the same freaking video every day, right? Because they're going to get sick of me. I don't want them to get sick of me. I just want them to learn more. So that's why I like, you could have 30 days of content rotating every day without you doing a thing, right? So you just set it up and then set it and forget it. Use while you snooze.
Well, and the thing on the remarketing, just one more note on that is that there are so many touch points that you need to have with a lead before they sort of know, like, and trust you. Let the remarketing do all of that. And that's the power of the video. And that's the power of what Wendy's doing is that she's generating, for example, a cold lead that doesn't know her, but very quickly they do know her because she's got all this video content. She's sharing things about, you know, the Las Vegas market. She's updating them and they see all this rotating content. And by the time she walks into their home with a listing presentation, they've already virtually met her. They already know her. They know her personality. They've seen her. That's the power of the remarketing done with video, which I know all of you know, but when you really experience it, there's a reason Wendy just keeps doing it. You know, it takes some work to do it, but she's not stopping. because it completely takes all of these leads and just essentially indoctrinates them with who Wendy is, like, you know, and they learn everything about that, everything that she wants them to know. They then know, and makes the listing presentation a lot easier.
Stephen,
Right.
quick question, Maria here. Super quick question. Depending on the audiences, is it customizable, the text messages or the email templates the prospects will receive? Is there a way we can customize those within StreetText?
Oh, absolutely. So whenever
100%.
you launch an ad, we'll build out a generic sequence for some of the ads, just so you have a starting spot. But you just click on the edit automation button, and you will see the automation for that ad, and you can customize it. And in the case of, say, our sellers, when you customize that automation, it'll work for all of the seller ads. So you only have to customize it the one time, and then it'll just reuse that automation. For some of the listing ads or, you know, one-off ads, it's designed for that specific ad, but we have some functionality coming for you to reuse some of that as well. And again, there's a lot more to the product that we didn't talk about, but, you know, too much to cover today.
Yes, so sorry. We gotta cut this off because I have people in the VIP room. So I'll see you later. Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Love you guys. Have an amazing week. And next week it's all about Google tools. It's gonna be cool. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mindy.